Still from our homes, I'm Richard Rellis here with columnist Bob Robb. And I guess voters not happy with how lawmakers wish to conduct elections during the time of a pandemic. They've gone into the courts. And Bob, you find it troubling that the courts are making so many rulings about how the election is going to be conducted.
Now, in our system of federalism, we don't have a national election. We have 50 state elections, and state legislatures are empowered by the Constitution to set the rules by which those elections are conducted. And here at the last minute, judges all over the country are changing the rules. In my judgment, that runs a risk at a minimum of delaying the vote count, and by doing that, undermining confidence in the outcome. And there is one possibility in which there could be an explosive shake in confidence in the outcome of the election as a result of all these last minute changes that judges are making in the rules.
Do you think if, say, the U.S. Supreme Court were to strike down a bunch of these lower court rulings, what would that look like? How would we even be able to determine, say in Arizona where voter registration was just extended, how could we determine which votes not to count or which votes shouldn't have counted?
That's one of the confusions and sources of undermining confidence that exist. The Supreme Court just recently struck down a new procedure in one state, but said anyone who had registered under the judge-made rule up to the point that the Supreme Court intervened could still be on the rolls, but on a going forward basis, they were going to return to the rules that the state legislature provided. In the scenario that truly troubles me is that there will be a block of voters that are eligible to vote under these judge-made rules that would not be eligible to vote under the pre-existing rules that state legislatures had made. And that's true in a number of battleground states. I think that generally it's irresponsible to raise questions about the legitimacy of our election. But if that block of voters, eligible under the judge rules, ineligible under the state legislature's rules, is to determine the outcome of the election, I think that really shakes confidence because it's not the role of judges under our system to set the rules under which elections are conducted.
And I guess that's the thing. If it's a close race and it comes down to states like Arizona and Pennsylvania, and those states are close, you're saying even though we wouldn't be able to know for sure that block of voters, we can't identify which voters they are, but knowing that a block of voters were able to vote that maybe wouldn't have had the rules stayed as they were originally written, that would cast a shadow over the result or allow people to claim.
Yes, that's at a minimum. But in a lot of states, what the judges are doing is to say the deadline by which a mailed ballot has to be submitted is not going to be what the legislature said. It's going to be some later date. And there will be the ability to count the votes that arrived and were counted after the legislature's date. And if that number of votes happens to change the outcome in a particular state, that changes the outcome in the Electoral College, which changes who the President of the United States is, I think that will cause a crisis in confidence in American democracy that vastly exceeds anything that Donald Trump can achieve with his bombastic rhetoric. And up until this point, largely groundless accusations about the integrity of our election process.
So you've given us something new to worry about, but it's also something that
that's our job in COVID-19.
But should the nightmare scenario you outline come to pass, we can look back and say, you heard it here first.
Well, and hopefully the U.S. Supreme Court will prevent that possibility if it has the time, the energy, and can cobble together all of these cases. I've called it a legal pandemic that's occurring.